evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Business Power Hour with Darren, Dimples, and the Music Man. Me. Hey, Dimps.
Hey, Mr. Music Man. How you doing this evening?
What's going on?
How are you?
Well, good. What's up? Two ladies. This is a true story. These two ladies at a network meeting came over to me, and he said, your show was really good, but we missed Dimples. Good evening, everybody. I just got the finger from Jim.
It's all part of the story.
Right.
Hey everybody, it's Darren from the Business Power Hour. I'm not going to be in the studio tonight. I'm traveling.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, except Darren's not here.
I'm here.
No,
I'm
you're
right
not
here.
Does anybody see that? Darren is not here. Darren is away.
I am right here, right
quiet
next
for
to
a
you.
second. You're not here. What? I don't know if you got lucky.
Not the really interesting question.
That's a fantastic question, Norman.
Wow. See, I got fantastic.
This
You
is
just
the
got good. I got fantastic.
Show's about him, so let's focus on that.
on?
Were you drinking before the show?
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
There we go. We got it.
Let's go.
No, it's
Now we got to
There you go. Okay.
smother it.
So, I think he has a music thing.
It's making noise.
It's making music.
Is it?
Yeah. That's so sweet. That's so sweet of you, Darren.
By the way, this is a Yankee station.
It's a
Thank
Yankee
you.
station, John.
Thank you.
It's a Yankee station.
All right.
Unfortunately,
We got bugs in here. What's going on?
I don't know.
Do you spray? Get
You
an
know what? It's
exterminator?
that time of year where you're getting bugs and stuff. As long as we don't have bees, I'm good.
Yeah, all right. That's
But
We have a lot of undulations out in the field. Undulations.
Is that a wine?
it's, no,
What the hell is undulation?
Fred, don't use big words. Yeah, right? So this.
Help.
I gotta give him a cough button, Jim. What do you think?
A cough
Because-
button would be a good idea. Consider that a good question that he asked?
Great
There you go. There's
There
a
you go.
good question.
I got
Pythons
one.
and brains.
You're double D?
I'm double D. Show's about him, so let's focus on that.
Hey, give me some. Give me some loving.
How are you, Music Man?
Hello, Darren. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm
this week.
absolutely convinced. I'm absolutely convinced that
telling
you
you.
got some kind of brain damage when you had that thing last year.
I'm telling you that, and he called. And
Not classy, but classy.
Seeing interviews by Darren and the Music Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Siafi and Norman Wasserman.
let's do this.
yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour Wednesdays version, not Tuesdays or Thursdays, but the Wednesday edition of the Business Power Hour. And the gentleman sitting next to me with those big dimples is Darren himself. Hi, Darren.
Good evening, Mr. Music Man. How are you this evening?
I am fine, thank you. How was your
Yeah?
weekend? Well, beautiful weekend.
Oh my God, the weather
was
was
nice.
fantastic. Did
Today
you have
too.
a good holiday weekend?
I did. Very nice.
Yes?
Thank
How
you. I
about
got to
Renee? Did
see.
she have a good?
I have no idea.
No.
We don't talk. But I got to see all the grandkids.
Yeah, good.
We had a little celebration. My grandson got accepted to Ohio State.
Really?
Yes, he's going
Oh,
on
good.
part scholarship.
Congratulations.
Going to Ohio
Good for
State. Very
him.
proud of the guy. A great kid, and we all went over there
Excellent.
and we
Excellent.
spent a few
Well,
hours.
you've had both your shots, right?
I had both my
you're cleared
shots,
now. So
and we were outdoors, and
Mhm.
it was all good.
yeah.
And what'd you do?
You know what? We're cleaning up. We're getting ready to move.
Are you moving?
Yeah, we're moving.
You
We're
know, it's
moving.
interesting that you're saying that. I think you went to look for a new house or apartment or whatever it is that you're
yeah.
doing. And you got I think a lot of offers for that for the mansion that you live in out east. With the are you selling the house with the mansion with the cars and the
Everything's
track
going with everything.
and the horses?
The horses, the track, everything is going.
Unbelievable.
It's a package deal.
And you got a lot of people were outbidding each
well,
other.
it took 3 days to sell the house.
3 days.
3 days.
How many
And we
offers did you have?
And we had 25 offers when we stopped it.
25 offers.
25
and you stopped.
25
See,
offers when we
now
stopped
you
it.
can use our guest. And I
Right.
see he's smiling now
He's
because we're
smiling now,
segueing into our guest, Mr. Howie Mann. Good evening, Howie.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's crazy. And hey, Howie, how are you? So
good evening,
crazy,
gentlemen.
right? So
Yep. we got 15% over list.
15?
15%.
That's
over
pretty
list.
sweet. So now you need to go someplace else. And that's this guy, I know him.
Actually, it's
Yes.
That might be a problem that I know him for you. But anyway, Howie, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Good to be here tonight with you guys. And yeah, you should look into an investment property now.
That's one of the things that we're thinking about. But see, it's not a buyer's market. So, for us to turn around and take what we made on the house and go buy something right now probably isn't the most prudent thing that we're going to do. So we're going to sit on it for a year and see how the market levels out, and then we're going to make a decision at that point.
But you got to be careful about the
the
capital gains. But go ahead.
No, say what you're going to say. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you have to be careful about paying the capital gains on that. I'm about to sell a co-op in Manhattan, and I'm sensitive to that because you have to prove that you paid a lot of money into improvements for the home, so you won't get taxed.
Yeah, it's not only that. You have some exclusions, and you have 2 years to reinvest. So
the guy's got houses. Horses. He's got a track back there. He has a stall. That's improvement.
Howie, this is how
he bought the land behind him, on the side of him.
This is how Howie. This is how he stretches the truth out.
Oh, really? You're so modest.
It really is, though.
You're so modest.
But no, Howie, it's. Thank you for being here. Tell us about.
We'll start off with the name of your company.
Yeah.
Okay. The name of the company, it's a name for a reason. It's called Quick Commercial Capital. And that's exactly what we try to do. We try to get our clients quick commercial capital for what they need, whether it be for their business or an investment property. I got into this about 5 years ago after I sold my copier company, and I decided I was going to retire. And about 3 weeks into retirement, my wife said, "You can't retire. You're driving me crazy. You got to do something. You got to get out of the house." So, I trained for triathlons, but let's face it, after 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm finished training. I got the rest of the day. So I decided to go back to school. I went back to school on Wall Street, and it was a financial training school. And it taught me how to lend money, how to deal with the banks, how to deal with the private lenders. So over the last 5 years, I've accrued over 100 different private lenders and banks. And gentlemen, my business is knowing where to make the match. Like, just because you have great credit and great tax and great credit scores, your tax returns look great, you might go to a bank and they'll still say no, simply because that's not the kind of loan that they're looking for. Some banks want owner-occupied, some want owner-occupied. So that's my job, is to match the bank up with the client who's looking for the money.
Okay, so Howie, let's go back a little bit, right? You said you had a copier company before you were doing this, right? How long were you in the copier business?
About 40 years, but my own company started in 1996. We sold it in 2016.
Okay.
Doing very well, but I had a partner at the time, and he said to me, "Howie, I've had enough. So I can either buy him out or take the money and retire."
And so you took the money and retired. And so what made you say, okay, I now want to get into lending and I want to get into helping businesses get capital?
Excellent question. When you're in a service organization like a copier business, the modern copiers fax, scan, print. So if you're down for 24 hours, the client starts screaming at you. We did the best we can. We were there in 24 hours, but if we slipped every once in a while, the customer would scream. I found the perfect business where nobody screams at me now. Because think about it. They're asking me to find them money. They need money. Are they going to scream at me? No, they're going to be very nice to me. Yeah. So in the last 4.5 years, I haven't been screamed at once, except the wife. But other than the wife, I haven't been screamed at.
Oh, we all go through that. So that's.
So it's been a wonderful 4.5 years. I built up some very nice banking relationships.
Did you use your clients from the copier business?
Yes. Great question. I've had great relationships now, second and third generation of people buying copiers from me. Every 3 or 4 years, they would renew and get the modern technology. So after I left that business, I stayed in contact with them, and I've made some very good transactions with those people. Excellent question.
All right, so let me.
Double
Okay,
excellent.
I mean, we're doing really good today with the question. Well, I want to just back up. So let's talk about who you get loans for. Now, we talked about businesses, right? Do you get loans for individuals also?
Yes, I mean, we do a large amount of PPP plans and SBA loans, and it's basically because the banks are inundated with PPP requests, and they'll call me confidentially, and I will help their clients get the PPP plan. And the banks feel very comfortable with Howie because I'm not going to go back and take their checking accounts away from their clients or anything like that. I'm not a bank, so they feel safe with me. I put it through a separate subscriber who has a portal for the SBA, I mean, for the PPP plans. We also do the EIDL plans. But are you familiar with the term lost leader?
Yes.
Okay. The PPPs, the EIDLs, those are lost leaders for me. I'm doing a tremendous service for these people. However, I'm paid very, very, very little. That was 3 berries, guy, if you didn't pick that up. So what happens is hopefully they'll come back to me for another loan. And I make it apparent to them that I offer other loans. So that has helped me to even get more business.
So, okay, yeah, and I understand that because as an accountant, I've been doing a lot of PPP work and a lot of EIDL work because they're coming to me saying, and there are times where we're going to the banks and they're just so difficult to get them done.
Then you got to call Howie.
And, and it's like finding alternate ways to do that. So Howie, you and I need to have a conversation offline, about that and about finding the right funding for my clients.
Just figure in for me for my VIG.
Right.
And I brought you two together. So
yeah, he's always looking for his VIG.
Let's do this too. Let's give out our phone number. So if any of our network buddies are out there or any of Howie's clients, the number is 631-619-7500. It's 631-619-7500, and give us a call. Say hello to Howie. Ask him a question. Tell him the situation that you may or may not be in, and let's see if Howie can help you.
Well, Howie, do you do mortgages on personal property? Say, I'm going for a house, all right, and say the bank just doesn't want to lend me the money. Because we're seeing that one of the things I'm seeing, especially from a business perspective, but, I don't know how it's going on the mortgage side, but I'm seeing the banks kind of tightening up in credit lines and, business loans and stuff like that. This past year, they've kind of tightened up on those things, probably because the government's giving away so much money, right? So, my question to you is, if I'm looking for a house and I want to get a mortgage, is that something you could help me with?
No.
Okay. So
let me tell you what. Let me tell you, that's a residential mortgage. Okay. I'm the other end. I'm the commercial mortgages. But being that I'm in the mortgage business, I'm also very familiar with who's going to give the best rates for how much money there would be in a residential world like you're looking into. So can I refer you? Yes. Can I do the mortgage? No, because I don't have a license for residential.
Okay. So my next question to you is, we have what they call out there hard lenders, right? Soft lenders. Are you a hard lender only, or can you do a mix?
Okay. Let me clarify for you. If I have a friend that wants to go to a bank and get a great loan, everything is hunky-dory, the tax returns are great, the credit score is great, but they just don't know who to use, they'll come to me as an advisor. I will lead them, and I'll lead them to the bank that I know will do that specific kind of loan for them. Okay. On the other end, if something's wrong, like I have a client the other day buying a building, 2018 tax returns look great, 2019 didn't look so great, 2020 is okay. That wavering of your tax returns, that's a red flag for banks. So I'll take that particular person to a private lender. It's not hard money. You see, there's a niche between the SBA rate and the hard money rate. And that niche is going to be somewhere between 6 and 9%. So I'll get them that kind of loan. Hard money is usually 10% or more plus points. And something like that's going to be on a bridge loan commercial or a fix and flip. And the reason being, gentlemen, is because the lender, not the banks won't do those. The lender doesn't have really enough time to make the money on the interest rate. So he has to charge what's called 2 or 3 points upfront. So even if I quote you 10% and 3 points, and you're fixing and flipping, which is so predominant on Long Island right now, you might pay that off in 6 months. So instead of the 10%, you really only paid 5%. It's how fast you can get your ass in gear and get that property fixed and flipped.
Right.
Now, you can also, being what you do, you can do national loans as well. And the reason why I'm asking that, there is somebody who contacted us just now asking if you can do New Jersey.
We're all over the tri-state. That's an easy one. The tougher ones are in Georgia, California, Mississippi. I'm very close to an accounting firm that represents 400 motels around the country. So when his motels need to be refinanced, it's my job to go out and find a bank or a private lender in a different city. So that's my challenge, but it takes me about 48 hours to find somebody.
That's not much time at all.
That's a quick turnaround. That's
especially for a business like that.
So walk me through the process, Howie, right?
Okay.
So I want to get a business loan. Okay. What are the requirements, or what are you looking for in order to help me? I mean, what type of loans? Like I'm going to take it from two different perspectives, if I could. First one is I need operating capital. I need operating capital to hire people, buy some new equipment, and just, help build out the marketing plan and whatnot. Is that a type of loan that you would do?
Well, yeah, the thing is, being that I ran a business for 20 years, the smartest thing any business owner could do is have a line of credit, because you can draw on that line of credit whenever you want. You can pay it off whenever you want. And that's essential. If a business owner today doesn't have a line of credit, they're really hurting themselves, because when they need the money, it's going to take them maybe 2 to 3 months to get approval. And that's really a hurting time when they know they need the money. So it's usually a 10% rule. I mean, if your sales are $1 million a year, you'll be able to get a $100,000 credit line. I had in my copier business a $750,000 credit line from a major bank. I hardly ever used it. I used it maybe up to 150 to 200,000. You just have to be sensitive, because what banks do today is they have what's called a sweep. So once a year, you have to bring that loan down to zero.
Right.
So you have to be a little sensitive. You have to ask the bank, do you sweep, or how often a year do you sweep? You don't want to be left, without the money. So in answer to your question, you can get all that you want for your business, but you really should qualify. You probably should ask for a line of credit from your bank tomorrow.
Okay, so what if I can't get a line of credit from my bank? Is that something you can help with?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways around it. I can go to a more flexible bank for you. I can ask you, what do you need the money? You mentioned equipment. We can do equipment financing. So it's about 7-8% for equipment financing, but it's a much easier process, and you'll be approved in 48 hours.
Is it heavy?
Even if you own the equipment, you can own the equipment already.
I'm sorry, or is it heavy industrial equipment, or is it office equipment?
It's office equipment. It could be a truck. It could be a used truck for a hauling company. It could be refrigeration equipment for an ice cream parlor, which I've done 5 of those. So it could be anything, as long as it's not something that's like over 10 years old.
Did you ever do a bagel store?
No, never did a bagel store.
Are you sure?
Well, I got a loan for a bagel store, but I didn't.
Oh, that's what I was referring to. Did you ever get a loan for a bagel store?
Yeah, that was an interesting scenario, Norman. I'm glad you asked, because the bagel store was being sold to my client for $800,000. The problem is the bagel store only showed $350,000. So right away, a bank isn't going to give my client $800,000. So I had to do basically a hard money loan for the gentleman. I said, what do you have for collateral? He said, I have a nice house in the Hamptons. I said, do you live there? He says, no. I said, good, because if you live there, I can't use it for collateral. It's an investment property worth $2 million, free and clear. So
a question for you. You're a businessman. You have a client that says it's buying a business that at the best did $350,000, and he's paying $800,000. Yeah, does he have a bagel hole in his head? What
No,
is?
no, no.
No,
He,
no.
it was legitimate. The owner could actually show the money coming in. He just didn't show our Uncle Sam the money coming in.
Oh, okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
That's not an uncommon thing.
No,
That's
but you
the
know what?
retail business.
You're shooting yourself in the foot if you do something to that extreme, because then when you need to sell your company or you need to get a loan or something, you can't show the bank that you can't show the bank that you're doing well.
Right. Yeah, and that's part of the problem, right? Especially in these cash businesses, is because people just, and that's a lot. I have a lot of clients that, part of their business is cash and they never want to show it, and I always say the same thing. You got to show everything because eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Absolutely.
And it always does. I've had guys that for 10 years, they would say, "Oh no, I don't do any cash anymore. They put everything in the bank." That's what they would tell me because I'm like, I'm not going to do your returns if I know there's other money there. And and then all of a sudden they're getting audited and they find out they got this and that and these other things. They got racehorses and all kinds of stuff that they didn't tell me about that they went and
Then
bought
you know
cash.
these people. Did you ever buy a horse from them?
No, I never bought a horse from them. But
I have a perfect example for that. I have an accountant who must have given me 30 gas stations to do PPP plans for. Every gas station was declaring income of $3,000 to $10,000 a year.
wow.
Right, because they're being paid in cash.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's a perfect example where you got burnt because you didn't show the income of all the gas.
And that's a great point that you bring up, Howie, is that, and this is what a lot of my guys didn't get when PPP started coming around and they weren't showing, because that's a lot of things too, is a lot of people want to pay their employees partly off the books and on the books. And they're finding out, oh, this guy got a huge PPP check. I didn't get it. Well, because you're not showing anything,
Right.
and it goes to, hey, you're playing two sides of the fence here and you can't have it all, the way you want all the time.
Right.
So
you got to pay the piper.
You got to pay the piper. And that's the issue.
If you don't pay one way, you're going to pay another.
Do you run into that a lot, Howie, where you're running into people who are making more money than what they're showing, but there's not much you can do for them as far as lending?
Well, it's a good question, but let's take the gas station industry. A lot of banks won't do gas station businesses because basically, number one, it's an environmental concern. God forbid a gas tank blows up. That person's suing everybody. Even the bank who holds the loan on the gas station is getting sued. So gas stations are a tough loan, but a lot of the time they don't show the money at all. But here's the thing though: if they own the property, then they get their loan because that's my collateral that I can use.
Right.
Or maybe I can prove to a private lender, look at the cash flow coming in to the convenience store. Very difficult to get a gas station a loan unless they have a convenience store. That's where the money's coming in. The bagels, the coffee, the cigarettes, the candy, coming in every day long. They don't make much on the gasoline.
Yeah, and people don't realize that is they really don't. Even though we're paying astronomical prices per gallon, what people don't realize is the majority of that price is taxes that we're paying. And your margins on gas are very thin.
Let's take the gas stations. You have a gas station, you can pay cash, and you get one price, or you pay your credit card, you pay another. Now, I know a little bit about credit cards. You know a little bit about credit cards. We know that it's 2.9 or 3.0 or 2.7 or whatever card it is has its own thing. But they're charging 10% more for a gallon of gas.
How are you getting 10% more? It's only a dime. On $3?
On a dollar, on a dollar, it's 10 cents. Whatever. They're charging
more.
They're charging more
significantly, and they pay. It's the same gas, the same wholesale price that they paid, whether it's debit or credit or cash. Yeah, and they get away with it.
Well, it's like anybody, and you know what? A lot of my clients who are not at gas stations are starting to implement this because everybody pays with a credit card now.
Exactly.
And credit card fees.
Debit card too.
Yeah, debit cards too. And, the fees can be astronomical at times. There are a lot of my clients that now are charging, if you're going to pay with a card, they're charging you more money. They're
Correct.
charging you a convenience fee because that's what it is. It's a convenience fee. And legally, you're allowed to do that. You can charge them whatever you want as far as a convenience fee.
By the way, Howard, we have a guest from the state of Washington.
Yes.
That is on. She is a follower of the Business Powwow. We're going to say hello to Brittany Anderson.
It's our pink positive pal, Brittany Anderson. Yes, we love you too, Brittany. We're going to have you guys back on soon because I know Mark's doing a fundraiser soon. So
yeah, he's coming up soon.
So we'll have you guys on. Brittany, thanks for tuning in. Howie, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. Listen to a couple of commercials here. Norm's got a shows coming up that we gotta sell some tickets to. So,
but before we do, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, one more time.
All you have to do is dial 516-658-3484. It's on the screen.
Again,
516-658-3484.
And if you want, go to his website, quickcommercialcapital.com. It really is. I was on there today. Gives you a great explanation of what they do, how they do it, and how they can help you. So we'll be right back right after these messages.
Got a call from an old friend, used to be real close. Said he couldn't go on the American way. Closed the shop, sold the house, bought a ticket to the West Coast.
Small business owners, are you having trouble growing your business? Do you feel like you're always swimming upstream? Do you feel like daily tension that I can't get ahead and I don't know why? Hi everybody, my name is Darren Sayafi and I'm a business therapist. What's a business therapist? Well, some people call us coaches, some people call us advisors, other people even call us strategists. We take a vested interest in you and your personal development as a person and as a business owner to give you the tools and structure that you need to take it to that next level. So don't wait. Give me a call today for your free consultation and let me show you how you can help yourself.
Okay, welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man, and that smiley face that you're looking at, that is Mr. Howie Mann. And let me give off the phone number again if I can. If you have a question for Howie, instead of a text or an email, or both, either or, 631-619-7500, 631-619-7500. Give us a call, say hello to Howie, and ask him a question, and tell him what your situation may be. Maybe he can help you on the phone.
All right, and I got an update for everybody. It's 1-0, bottom of the third. Yankees are beating the Orioles because we are a Yankee station, John.
Howie, what's your story? Mets or Yankees?
I wish I would have known. I might not have come on tonight.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I was going to end the conversation. So you're taking the fifth, you did good. That's it. So we are a Yankee station.
We are a Yankee
So
station.
now our mood and our tone is going to change.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, you got to remember, this kid, he grew up in the Bronx.
That's right. I worked at Yankee Stadium when I was a kid.
I'll tell you a very funny story. I'm a Mets fan. Been that since 1964, but I'm not an anti-Yankee fan. I happen to love the Yankees for years. My close friends are fans. I'm doing a leukemia lymphoma in Greenwich, a cycle for survival. They closed the whole gym in Equinox, and the music was so loud I had to go out to the lobby. I go to the lobby, the gym door opens up, the locker door, and out walks Joe Girardi. So like an idiot, I go, "Hey, Joe!" Like he's supposed to know me, But I went to the reception. I said, "I thought you closed the whole gym for the whole day." And she said, "No, not for Mr. Girardi." So,
Did you give him a business card? Did he call you for a loan or something? Well, he had enough money to take care of himself.
Yeah.
I guess he's pretty well set for life.
I think so.
Yeah, he's doing. Yeah, he's doing pretty good, and the Phillies are actually playing really good. So yeah,
Yeah, he was a good guy. I'm sorry that he was gone.
Yeah.
So okay, so we got off track here. Let's get back on track here, Howie. All right. What I really want to know is before the copier business, right? You said you did it for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
What did you do anything before that?
Well, before that, I was in college, graduated college. I went through about 5 jobs in 5 weeks. My wife-to-be was going cross-country, and she called me. We didn't have cell phones. She called me and said, "So what's the story?" I said, "Nah, that didn't work out." And then finally, I got lucky. I knocked on a door at the right time, right place at Pitney Bowes. And I got excellent sales training for 2-3 months. They sent me on a territory, Cooper Union Square, which was Hell's Angels and only the homeless people, and they expected me to sell postage meters.
Okay.
So, they do that for a reason. They don't want their reputation tarnished by some new kid on the block going trying to sell their product. So I did well enough where they promoted me, but their idea of the promotion was to give you a better territory. So for the next year and a half, I went up and down the elevator in the Empire State Building, 84 floors of selling copying machines along with mailing machines, which leads me to probably one of the funniest things ever happened to me was I knock on a door that says Fuji 50% owned by Xerox. And I said, what the hell? I'm going in. I don't care. I'm going in. And I talked to the general manager about a copier, and he says, I'm interested. I said, no, don't pull my leg. You're owned by Xerox. He says, yeah, but they're not giving me any discount. I'm gonna stick it to them. I'm gonna buy a copier from you. He buys a Pitney Bow copier from me. I take the order back to my office, and they think I'm kidding. They said, you didn't sell a copier to Xerox. How could you do that? So I became very famous in Stamford, Connecticut, and I was promoted to the youngest manager that Pitney Bowes ever had at that time. So my claim to fame is selling a copier to Xerox, and I always tell people never ever assume that you can't do something. Just go in and try.
Well, you don't know what the reaction's going to be, and that's exactly what you proved. Is you just don't know. You can't make assumptions because you're not living in that other person's shoes.
Exactly.
So you really don't know, and that's a very important thing. So basically, your whole life has been copiers since college.
Yeah, and until 2016 when I sold the company.
So when did you leave Pitney Bowes?
Oh goodness, I would say back in the early 80s. There was one section of my life where I just had it with copiers, and I went to work for a client, and the client's name was Buccellati. It was a very famous sterling silver company. It's still on East 57th Street. They made very fine utensils. Like it would take a week to make one fork. And they were famous because the Vatican only used Buccellati. So the Vatican in Rome made them famous. And I was going around the country 4 days a week, living out of a suitcase, selling. I was the national sales director, selling silver to very fine shops. And my wife called me. I'll never forget. It was 1984 because it was my second child. And I'm in a hotel in Michigan. And she says, we're going to have a baby. And I said, is it mine? I had no idea.
Well, after she said no, what did you say?
I'd stay in Michigan. I just wouldn't come home. So after that, I realized this is not the life for a family man. I went in the next week and I resigned. And I went back to Pitney Bowes, believe it or not, on Long Island.
Uh-huh. And they took you back.
Oh, sure.
With open arms, they took me back. It was nice.
That's an excellent story.
What sets you apart from your competition? Now, we both know some people that are competitors of yours, right? Because we go to the same networking groups and so on. What sets you apart? No names mentioned. What sets you apart from your competition?
I'll tell you exactly what sets me apart. I deal with, I feel, the first-class quality banks in the area and the private lenders around the country. I know who the bad guys are. I know who the good guys are. I know who the excellent guys are. So I'm bringing my clients the excellent people that are give them the best rates and terms without me asking for them. I'm not squeezing them. They do right by their clients. So it's good for me to say that, but I'm passing the buck a little, saying that the reason I'm the best is because the people that I deal with are the best.
What was the craziest deal or the best deal, however you want to say it, that you were able to put together when somebody's credit and or financial background company was kind of weak.
Mm.
I'm sure there's been many, but there must be one or two that kind of like stand out.
It's a good question. I would say I would get the refrigeration situation with leasing. I had nowhere else to go. It was an ice cream parlor. The guy owns 5 ice cream parlors. He does very well, but he doesn't show much on the books. And I got him a lease for the equipment that he wanted rather than a loan. That was one. Not too exciting. The other story is a cannabis greenhouse in California where the guy needs $60 million. And it's still going on right now because what people don't realize is you have to come to the table with 30% of that money. There's something in my business called loan to value, LTV. So the bank will give you 70% or the lender. You've got to come up with 30%. So you got to pony up with $18 million, in your account to get that loan.
Is that typical of every loan that you do, that you have a loan to value of 30%?
Yes and no. The reason I'm going to say that is, Darren, there's different kinds of loans, like a fix and flip loan. I can get somebody 90% to the LTV and then 100% on the construction end. Fix and flip, gentleman did one in Sag Harbor. He bought a decrepit old house in Sag Harbor for $800,000. He got 90% of the money up front from us, and then he needed $900,000 to make it the way he wanted to before he sold it. So he got 100% of the $900,000 with putting nothing down. This is a home run for him. So he did this, flipped it in about 6 months, had to carry the taxes for 6 or 7 months in the Hamptons, but he just flipped it for 3.4. So there's huge profits. Fix and flipping on Long Island has become very competitive. When you show up to buy one at a foreclosure, or you're outbidding, you're trying to outbid people, and then you have to say, stop for a second, is there going to be profit in this for me? But the average fix,
Tomorrow, I'm going to be making a phone call to an organization that, as of, I guess, this past week, is in the cannabis business. And they are a not-for-profit organization. And I would imagine that they're going to be selling this across country. So I'm going to be talking to them about advertising on one of our concerts. They are definitely going to be in need of money. So offline, I will tell you who it is. I don't want to say it over the air, but I will give you a lead, and maybe it'll be good for the two of us.
It'd be great.
Well, it's funny because you mentioned the cannabis thing. Now that New York is making it legal, right, for recreational usage, it's now all of a sudden you're going to see, and this is one of the things you're going to see, is now these CBD shops and all these other things are now going to start carrying this stuff, and you're going to see these things propping up. So I'm sure, you're doing one in California, but you're going to start seeing these things, these retail outlets for cannabis. And I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how that's going to work.
Well, let me tell you how it's going to work, because you see right now, it still goes under the guidance of a private lender, because it's the banks are federally regulated, not by the state. They're federally regulated. So each of the 50 states have to be on board before banks could actually start lending for cannabis. So it's still under the private lenders right now.
So it's all private money. So if I wanted to open a cannabis store up, I'd have to get private money to do it. I couldn't go to Chase or Bank of America or anybody like that.
You could try. That would be a good laugh for them, but no.
Well, you know what? You think about it, it's going to be a very solid business.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's going to make a ton of money on it.
They're not going to know what they're doing. They're going to be so whacked out.
Well, I don't think necessarily that's the case, but look, these things, like every business, right? Think about it. Think about why they nullified prohibition. It's because they were losing tons of money. There was tons of tax dollars they were using because alcohol was illegal.
Right.
Same thing. Somebody went, you know what? We're fighting this pot thing a little too long. You got all these other states that are doing it now. They're making tons of money because they made it legal. let's jump in and let's make some money on
And
it.
if they don't do it, then they tax all of us.
But here's my question. I'm going off on a tangent now. Here's my question.
Well, you want to get a store now since you're selling your mansion?
Every new program, right, or every new thing that New York comes out with, because they just did this with with legal gambling now. They're going to do the legal gambling, mobile legal gambling now. New York.
Yeah.
Every one of those programs, a percentage of it is going to education, right? Our taxes in our school districts should be nothing for all this money that these guys are making and supposedly going to education. Where is this money going?
Well, this is from years and years ago. They had said that they were going to direct the gambling,
well, no, the lotto money, the
exactly,
lotto money.
That's exactly what I'm referring to. We're supposed to go to education,
right? Yeah. Well, where is it? Where is it?
Darren, you can make an argument for a lot of things. I mean, we're still paying to go over the Thorogs Neck Bridge, the Whitestone Bridge. You're telling me those bridges haven't been paid for 9, 10 times over?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Well, they hire a painting company for 9 months that paints just one wing of it and, holds up traffic during the course of the day because they don't do it at night.
Yeah,
they do it during rush hour.
Well, they don't, that's all.
I don't mean to knock the states, but when you look at how they've handled things, they mean OTB, they can't stay open. I mean, they're taxing things and they're popularizing bookies. The bookies are doing better now because now people that never gambled before are going to OTBs.
Yeah.
So, and they've done that in a few different areas. Look at our post office. Post office has lost $1 billion because of UPS is doing it the right way. FedEx is doing it the right way.
Well, because they're not running it like a business.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what it comes down to. And you look at most of these, these what I call the gimme states, right? So the states that are always like they have their hand out and they go gimme, gimme, gimme. And what they do is, they have the population where it's like, oh, we're going to take care of everybody. Somebody has to pay for this stuff. This is what nobody's, realizing. I know a lot of people are realizing this, but everybody's like, oh, the federal government is just giving us money. Well, we're going to have to pay it back someday, somehow. They're going to get it out of us. Get ready because that's coming. They're already talking about, that was when Trump changed the tax law and the C Corp became very fashionable because the tax rate dropped to 20%. I said this, all my clients have said, well, maybe I should convert to a C Corp now. I said, let's wait until the next election before we do anything. Thank God I did because Biden's already increasing the tax rate to 28% from 20
or 25.
So it's all of that stuff's changing. All of this stuff's going on. I'm going off on a tangent tonight. But you got me going, Howie, with this whole thing. But it's about proper money management, and the government, even the federal government, they don't know how to properly manage their money. They just don't. They don't run it like a business. If they ran it like a business, we wouldn't have all these problems that we have.
What is the hottest credit opportunities or loan opportunities that you have for commercial businesses that's out there now? What's popular?
Well, the SBAs are super popular. The only problem with SBAs is what used to take 2 and 3 months are taking 5, 6, 7 months right now. But the SBA is always going to be the best deal in town. It's backed by the government. The banks love them because the banks are only on the hook for 15%. God forbid the company goes belly up. And the banks now, it's kind of like a little bit of white collar blackmail because, and I hate to say it, but the banks, when you open up an SBA with them, they want to have a relationship with you. So they want money to be put in their
right. You got to open up accounts.
You got to open up accounts. I mean, that's where the money is, not in the loan. They don't make a lot of money on the loans. And I get that. And it makes the bank stronger. So the government is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. They're getting the small businessmen the money they need, and they're supporting the banking industry, which we all need banks.
Now, Howie, are you seeing that? Because SBA loans were always tough loans to get. Right? Are you seeing it loosening up? Now, I'm not including EIDL, right, and PPP. Forget those because that's something that we never had before. We'll never have again. I'm talking about if I went to a bank and said I want to get an SBA loan. Are the requirements? Are you finding or seeing that the requirements are looser than they've been prior to COVID?
I wish I could have given you an affirmative on that, but Darren, it's just not the case. I mean, there's still They're ruled by the SBA. And they apologize to me. They can't believe how many questions they ask me to give to my client. I mean, and the clients get very frustrated because, and the accountants like yourself get frustrated because they're calling their accountant, and the accountant has a hard time billing the client because, you know, it's their client. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to hurt the feelings of the client, but the client needs the last 3 years tax returns. They need the insurance, the taxes, the personal financial statement. Nothing's changed. Nothing.
Well, you know, it's funny because I've done some of those applications to put packages together for clients, and the frustrating part is not what the upfront request is. It's once you submit, because then they come back like 5 or 6 times with additional questions, and you're like, just ask me these questions up front and I'll answer them, you know. But that's the frustrating
You're talking about
part.
the banks?
Talking about the SBA, because the SBA does the final approval before they'll give the money to the bank to give to the client. So, you know, and that's the frustrating part.
It's very frustrating. I don't know if it's going to change because now they even have to be more concerned about people paying back the SBA loans.
Yes.
You know, with all the money they've been giving with all these packages. And you're right. I don't know when the day of reckoning is going to be, but our taxes have to go up. Somebody has to pay that money back.
Well, did you see this week, the SBA has started sending out notices that if you got an EIDL loan, I actually got a phone call this morning from one of my clients. I got an email from the SBA. The EIDL now went from 150 cap to 500.
Yeah.
But he didn't read it correctly.
Yeah.
Because you have to, there were 4 categories.
No, that's PPP.
No. This was EIDL. I got it from the SBA yesterday. Depending where you live.
No, you're reading the PPP one because you had the PPP was the low income. The EIDL said, send us an email with your loan number, right? Your application number, how much you borrowed, and then we're going to send you an information package on what information we need in order to reconsider giving you more money.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, up to $500,000.
Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of restaurants with that right now. Restaurants are still hurting severely. They're coming back, but they're still hurting, and they need
the restaurants
any stimulus package.
They never got help. The $5,000 or so the restaurants were given, there is nothing they're going to do with $5,000.
No,
there's nothing. You know, you got to buy food. You got to take care of your people that work for you. You got to pay your insurances, and you can't do business because you're not allowed to.
Right.
So that was ridiculous.
Right.
They should have given them certainly a whole bunch more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and
that's what I say.
And that's what you say. But, yeah. No, I'm sorry. You're right. It had to do with the EIDL, but it was the grant, the initial grant. Remember they gave out $1,000 per employee up to 10,000. If you didn't get the 10,000,
correct,
you could get that.
I got that.
No, this is different. This is different from that.
But this specifically said
the grant was you had to be in a low income area. You had to be, you know, burdened by all of this stuff. So you had to prove all of that stuff.
So then if you live in a low income area,
like myself,
and they're giving you like yourself, and they're giving you this loan, how the heck are they expecting you to pay it back?
No. See, the grant, the piece
the grant
about, that's a grant.
But who are you going to give it to?
You're not going to pay it back.
Are you just giving the money for the sake of giving it, knowing you're not going to get it back?
That's basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's basically what they're doing right now. You know?
Yeah.
But the EIDL loan is a 30-year loan.
Right. And I like that one because there's no way I'm going to be here in 30 years.
They actually pushed it. Now, if you got your EIDL loan last year about this time when everything was happening, you know, April, May, June, at this time this year, you were supposed to start paying it back. They actually pushed that off another year.
Yeah.
I have gotten an SBA, and I'm supposed to make my first payment in May.
They pushed it off till next year.
Did they?
Well, if you get a mortgage on a building right now through the SBA, it used to be 6 months. They just reduced it to 3 months. So they literally waive up to $9,000 a month. They waived your payments. Now, unfortunately, because the banks took so long, that 6 months only turned into 3 months now for the client. So that's now, you know, it's a shame because they really deserved the 6 months. They started the process when the 6 months wasn't enforced. So that's a shame.
When did they push this back another year?
It was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
I didn't get any notice.
Yeah, I know they're not advertising it. Trust me, I have to do all of this research because I'm getting phone calls constantly, to make sure that I'm on top of it, what's going on. And for those of you who don't know, I'll throw this little tidbit in. The unemployment 10-2 that the federal government's saying you don't have to count towards your income, right. You have to count it towards your New York State income. New York State's not following suit. So you're not going to get the same. So just to, yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Nobody knows. You know it. I know it. Nobody knows that. I try to explain it to my clients. And we have until May 17th. So I tell everybody, let's not file your New York State return right now.
Right.
Until we figure this thing out.
Did your software get updated?
The software did get updated. So now, we're filing the federal stuff now.
Right.
So we're holding on to New York State a little bit longer.
Howie, it's almost witching hour.
Oh, no.
I kept changing the subject there. I'm sorry, Howie. So, Howie, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how can they reach out to you so you can help them?
Well, all they have to do is give me a call. It's on the screen at 516-658-3484. I love a challenge. So if you've been to a bank, got turned down for any reason, I'd love to speak with you.
All right. Well, Howie, we really thank you for being on tonight. It was a lot of fun. It really
I knew you were going to be a great guest. I knew you were. Do you have any special events coming up or anything? Are you giving any talks or any information anywhere that you'd like people to attend?
Well, this whole tonight has been all about my trying to live outside my comfort zone. I've never been on TV before. I'm now writing my first book, which should be coming out in a month. So I'll be broadcasting that. I have a podcast out.
So why don't you tell everybody about your book? Tell them now.
Well, the book is I started writing about 8 years ago, and I compiled enough notes where I had enough to give to a ghost author, a ghost writer, and he's writing it for me now. And it literally is about sales, how to close deals, how to telemarket, how to cold call, even though that doesn't happen that much anymore.
I got a great title. How to sell copies to Xerox.
I like that. I like that.
Kidney blows sell copies to Xerox.
I love that. Yeah. That's great.
That was good. He's got to get a note.
I just give me a little credit in there.
Okay.
See, now when you get this book all done, now you got to come back again.
So you're also doing a podcast, you said, Howie? Where's the podcast?
I did the podcast. It's on my website.
Okay.
So you can go to my website, hear the podcast about different situations, about how I've gotten people out of pretty difficult spots, foreclosures. The only thing I can't loan on really is if somebody's in an active bankruptcy. If they're past the bankruptcy already and it's done, I could help them. So there's really no situation where they have to throw up their arms and say, now again, that's where you hear about the 20-25% rate.
You mean they have to be discharged?
Yeah, they can't be in the middle of a bankruptcy.
Well, there's a difference in the middle versus being discharged.
No, right. It has to be completely done.
Right. Discharge is the complete.
Got it.
Foreclosures. I worked on a foreclosure loan recently. It comes down to real estate. Real estate is king. If you have collateral, you can get a loan for just about anything.
That's excellent. Well, thank you again, Howie, for being on. We look forward to having you on again.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. And we'll talk to you soon.
I told you you'd have fun.
Okay.
Good night, Howie.
See you.
All right.
Another good guest.
Yeah, it was a good guest.
And I just keep on bringing them in.
Listen, I have to apologize. I got off a little.
That's all right. You're in the same.
Well, I'm getting frustrated with all these tax changes, and it seems like it's never advantageous for us and our clients. So it's the government, I think, is taking a little.
You're entitled to be angry.
Yeah, well, it's not so much angry. It's just my opinion that frustration that I'm tired of.
Well, I see, because I see what you're doing to this pen, and this pen is gonna. You're bending it, and I get angry. So, anyway, we're about ready to say goodnight to everybody. We thank everyone for being here. We thank
what do you
Howie
got
Mann.
coming up this weekend? God, you don't even look.
I've
let
already
me
said
teach you
it.
something about promotion.
Oh, yeah, please.
All right. So you got to tell
it.
people things are coming up,
All
right? So this Saturday night.
You tell everybody.
Okay. Billy Joel is going to be on. Billy Joel tribute. Okay. He's gonna be on this Saturday night. Get tickets at Friend USA ENT.
No, it's friendentusa.com.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you for advertising
this
the
is
wrong
us,
way.
okay.
Friendentusa.com. It's only $9.99.
Or call.
It's a live show.
Or call.
And benefit the ACLD, or call 631-698-9696. And what do you got going?
I got.
Oh, if you have late taxes and you need to get a hold of somebody to do your taxes, because Darren has nothing to do, give Darren a call.
Give me a call at 631-721-4347 at 631-721-4347. All right, my friend. As always,
let's see who's going to be here next week.
Yeah, next week.
Let's take a look in the Bible.
The Bible.
Okay.
The Bible's filling up quick, people. So
next week we have Andrea Pass. Andrea Pass.
She's a public relations person.
She certainly is.
Okay, so we got some public relations.
And we both can use a little.
Oh,
of that.
definitely, definitely, especially after this show.
Please. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for
everybody.
tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday,
All right.
7 o'clock sharp.
7 o'clock right here on the Business Power Hour.